Robot Damashii Gundam Double X. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, Gundam Reviews.net. Doubly excited to be here today to bring you a look at this Robot Spirits. It's the Gundam DX from Gundam X. It's one of the strange series where they didn't name the series after the second lead. Well, there was lots of problems with the second half of the series. Nonetheless, it was a great MS and very cool in games. How is it gonna stack up here as a toy on your shelf? 2013 release. Our number 145, there's the name in English and Japanese from the Robot Spirits side mobile suit, of course. 4,800 yen, the recommended price, but you can get it for 15% off from hobbylinkjapan.com, and there's a direct link below. Gundam X airing in the mid-90s. Yes, it was cut a little bit short, but it shares good company in that with First Gundam, and it's one of my all-time favorite Gundam series. Love the protagonist Garrod and the Gundam X and the DX that you're about to see is just fantastic designs, I think, all around. Here you can see it in its old-school manga form from Tokita Koichi. But the most important thing I think about the Gundam X for me as a Master Grade 1/100th collector is that for the longest time, there's been about 6 that I've been lamenting. They're getting here slowly, but we still haven't seen an MGX or DX, which means that this Robot Damashii may be your absolute best option at the moment until it inevitably, and hopefully not that long, until it gets the 1/100th treatment. But if you're a fan of lead Gundams like I am, this side of the box tour of the Robot Damashii shows you that you may actually have a lot of success collecting your favorites in this form if Gunpla isn't here, at least for the moment. How about that box tour? Well, for me, it's simple, effective, and really, this would sell me on it already if I picked it up off the shelf and flipped it around. Why? Because from the front, you're gonna see, yes, a cool-looking Gundam there. Black instead of blue, always interesting, as he's got those cool parts over the shoulders. You can see some cannons down there, but that's not the exciting part. This is because he's got not one satellite cannon, not one buster rifle, and forget double buster or twin busters. Twin satellite cannons here are going to get thrown over the shoulders before freedom was even a glimmer in anybody's eyes. And even cooler is if you take a look down there, the legs, those parts are going to be popping out. And where do we get the X from? Well, it's the regular one has a regular X. This one, well, he's got a double X. And that's going to be going along with standard armaments like shields, beam rifle, and an oversized beam saber. But ultimately, this is the one that everybody's here for, so let's see how it's going to work. Like Gundam X diving into a Gundam universe here as we go into the box. So what do you get? Well, of course, the plastic. And there's going to be a manual underneath there, not to mention a little insert. There is a lot of cool stuff tucked away here in the box. As you can see, the reflectors open, as you got the backpack there ready to go with the twin satellite cannons buried underneath over there. And it looks like you're also going to be able to put these parts on for the shoulders, which is always great when you swing them over. Clear parts perhaps here, as you've got things for the forearms and down for the legs. It looks like you're actually going to be opening up these covers and then attaching them on. Lots of extra manipulators there, and if you wanted to talk about massive, the Hyper Beam Swords are looking fantastic. The actual handles there can also attach on. Can't wait to see this guy fully deployed. And hardly posed out of the box, you've got to wonder why this guy didn't get an extra 10 episodes. I think he's looking absolutely fantastic. The darker colors are something that we had gotten used to with the new Gundam, all the way back in Char's Counterattack, so UC has its share of it. But I think he's really going to be standing out. He's got some good silver apps over there, yellow down on his toes you can make out, and that chest section. From the chrome-like thrusters back there to the yellow, and how about that clear green with shiny silver underneath? Combine it with a great mustache and beard, this guy is looking double the fun. And here's a closer look at the chest section, looking fantastic. It's the kind of thing where the power of the moon must be attracted there. Before he's fully armed up, let's take a look at the articulation. The skirts are going to come up and the legs can come up for a full kick. Off to the side, well, you can see that that can remove itself pretty easily. The side skirts aren't going to want to go up much more than that. And for the actual knees, you'll notice that it's going to be attached on 2 points there. Off goes the side skirt. And you'd imagine you can do the exact same thing with that down there. The toes can go down for some angry posing, and side to side. Not a huge range of motion, but the ankle guard is going to be moving pretty freely, as the foot here can move decently back and forth. Even with the side skirts off, you're not going to get much more out of 45, but then again, the DX isn't something you envision doing yoga all that often. You can rotate the waist around like this and ab crunch forward. Look at that, it can go all the way back. That's going to be looking a little bit ugly though, the closer you look at it. Side to side, it'll actually stay in place quite nicely. No moving parts or anything here. And what do we have for the shoulders? Well, it looks like they're not going to pop out and do anything exciting there, but they will rotate around as that forearm piece goes off. And you can see that you're going to have this white part, which is actually attached onto the shoulder. It will rotate around there, though. It's just a little bit tricky going past it. You can get your 90, you can bring it up for a 145, it looks like. And you've got a standard Robot Damashii hand, easy to swap off, depending on what hands and weapons you want to put into his angry hands themselves. And you'll notice that he's got some soft V-fins there. No kids are going to be poking their eyes out. It looks like they don't have to be child-proof. The reflectors you saw were one of them anyway, was unfolded there, so you'll want to follow the directions. It's pretty easy to get them in the right order there. And you can see that they are just going to be sliding into the backpack over there. And once you attach on the twin satellite cannon, it's actually very solid feeling. And for even more weapons, check this out. I'm actually really impressed with the colors. Of course, you've got the same dark blue there. The white is looking good. You could put in a little bit of lining if you wanted to, but it's the silver touches that they're going to be putting on the front and the back there, and the Robot Damashii hands are flexible enough that it's very easy to get the trigger finger split attached on. Those forearm pieces will fall off at the drop of a hat, but this is something I'd like to see more of. The way the shield is going to be attaching on, you can just see that it's going to plug into the back of the forearm there, and so you are going to have some color, which is easy to face forward. And now that he's fully armed up there, I think the rifle in hand is looking fantastic. This is something that I always tend to do, and you'll see it depicted that way sometimes. Have the twin satellite cannons off to the side. Why? Because at least you're getting the single X there, and like I said with the shield, it's got that nice little colorful red part there, and you can actually bend it on an angle inward, so even without twisting the forearm too much, it attaches on there quite securely, and it has the eye hole, which is familiar going all the way back to the great-granddaddy. And remember that this guy gets even more angry looking as he continues. And posability back here, well, these things, like I said, are on there very well. You'll notice that they will swing side to side, and all importantly, they're going to rotate around. And so what about the wings? Well, if you don't do much with the twin satellite cannons, you'll notice that they're going to go up and down a little bit, forward and back a little bit, but again, it's all about the opening and the rotating with these guys. And while here I am lamenting our lack of a master grade, at least for the moment, you can see that we are going to be getting a high grade coming out very soon, thanks to Build Fighters and no small parts. But if you did want to put him on your shelf next to high grades, you'll notice that his head height is going to be just a little bit cheating, as he shouldn't be as tall as the 18 meters scaled down here. 1/144th blue frame, but nonetheless, in terms of proportions, he's actually looking pretty good on an HG shelf. And speaking of brothers who haven't had master grades for far too long, proto or otherwise, here he is next to the Wing Gundam Zero. This guy's got his thrusters up and looking all crazy. Remember that the DX is about to go crazy. And if they had the regular Wing Gundam over here, then you're getting closer to an imperfect recreation of Gundam's 30th anniversary. Perfect mission here. Needs a little bit more feathers, and poor DX. It really should have been him in there, you figure, instead of X. It's that title, I figure. There's twice as much to talk about, it seems, with this Double X and its price point of 4,800 yen. Definitely giving you a lot of accessories and more play options than you'd expect. So stick around, everybody. Please let me know what you thought of this, the first parts. And of course, stick around to see it all posed and all of the different play options on display. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stick around for lots more. See ya. Well, you beat me to the MG. I sort of figured that they gave you Wing first, that they would have gone somewhere with X. I mean, V1, V2, my series really is sort of losing out here.